Nothing says good decisions like bringing a product you announced that was deprecated back with new features.
Oh, you mean WinForms?
Well, that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Windows Presentation Foundation. Oh, no, you mean .NET. No, wait, what are we talking about?
Somewhat surprisingly, yesterday Microsoft announced, which is for some reason why this looks so weird is
Yep.
I can't explain what happened, but casting the image up to here, and there's like multiple versions of it. But anyways, they're bringing not keyboard and mouse, but keyboard shortcuts to Paint, which was, if you remember, Paul, was previously buried under the ground and was going to be removed from Windows. Then they brought it back.
Remember, there's a little note up in the ribbon.
Yep.
Said you'll be able to download this app from the store someday because we're getting rid of it.
And then they didn't. And
I like this. I like that Microsoft has done a Superman thing where they reverse the time by flying around the world backwards. And now we're just gonna. I mean, the next thing you know, there's going to be something in Windows called MSN Messenger. I'm sure they'll bring back Internet Mail and News.
I personally hope they just bring back Live Messenger and just kind of,
Yeah, sure.
Keep it.
Yeah. If you want to stick something in the ground, why don't you start with Skype? I would help bury that body. That's all I'm saying. Just let me know.
So, anyways, for the people who have been using Paint and saying, I wish I could use my arrow keys to move the cursor and stuff around, your time has arrived.
Really? What? I don't understand.
It's an accessibility thing. I think there's some mandate.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so, yeah, actually, it's okay. I would say nothing says Paint is back more than the fact that they're making it accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. That's fine. That's good. I didn't understand what the point of this was. I was like, was Paint hard for people to use before? But I guess, yes, depending on your needs, it might be hard. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a bad. It was just sort of random, and it wasn't really announced all that greatly.
Microsoft doesn't like to talk up the embarrassments.
Yeah, so that's there's that.
Will sets also be made accessible, Brad, or is that going to be for a future release?
Well, you can get it in the terminal.
You can also buy Groupie. It's only $5 right now. It's on sale. StarDark.com.
Oh, is it really?
Yep.
That's honestly probably.
It's not a bad idea if you want that kind of thing.
Oh, well, not even that. It was implemented better than Sets was too. Which is the real awkward part is that, that.
How come a little company like StarDark could get this right and a big, rich company like Microsoft just sputters?
These are great questions.
Balloon sound cues. It's weird.
It is kind of weird. It is kind of.
But you know what? Whatever that little epic team at Microsoft does next, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
I'm sure it will be, and I'm sure it'll be called Light OS or whatever.
Light OS, oh jeez, okay.
Which is somewhat funny because we never even talked about this. That foldable laptop thing from Lenovo. If you look at some of the descriptions of it, it says with an unnamed version of Windows. Which
why would they say that?
I know.
Why would they say that? You don't have to be cryptic. You could just say, "Well, run Windows."
Yeah.
Just move on from there. You don't have to be weird about it, but they were weird about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It would have made a lot of sense if they would have announced that at Build like they were originally intending to, I believe. And then Lenovo could have come out with this thing and said,
but Brad, that would have gotten people excited. You don't want to do that.
Which, granted, I am not very excited about this Lenovo thing. People are like losing their minds over it. It's just not, I don't get it.
So the mile high view of this is there has always been a dream in the industry to eliminate a device, and you do that by having a hybrid device that can do two things, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that's really interesting about phones is that for many people, the phone has eliminated other devices. So maybe you used to have like an MP3 player, you used to have an ebook reader, maybe you even had a tablet for a little while, and then phones got big, and you're like, my phone can do everything. And so that's kind of the holy grail of personal electronics. When I look at the folding phones that companies are making, obviously the first gen is going to be terrible, but as these things evolve, I think that thing has the opportunity to be that type of device. Again, it's a phone again, but when you're navigating and you want to have a bigger view on the map, or you're reading a book, you want a bigger view on a plane or whatever, or watching a movie, I think it's kind of a cool thing. Like it's it's a nice evolution of the product. But when I think about it, like from the PC part, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not useful. I just see much less utility out of it.
Yeah.
As interesting as it is to look at, I mean, it's cool looking, you know?
Yeah, it's neat, if you will, but like they showed somebody sitting on their lap and had this nice foldable thing typing on it, but typing on glass is terrible. Like,
no, and right, and you know how we know it's terrible? Because Lenovo makes something like that today. It's called a Yoga.
Yeah,
and it's terrible. It's just, it's just terrible.
Yeah, typing on glass is not a good. So if it's not going to replace a keyboard,
what's the point?
It's not going to be better than a laptop. It might be more interesting.
There is
maybe.
Where did I hear this? I'm sorry. Sometime in the past couple of days, I heard about a form of haptic feed. Oh no, it was the OnePlus event.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that with the right kind of haptic sensors or whatever that thing is, you can emulate a feel as you press key, like virtual keys on glass. It makes it feel like individual keys.
Mm-hmm.
If that technology could be perfected, and granted it would be easier on a bigger screen. Okay, maybe we're going to get to that point, but like right now, I mean, honestly. Yeah, hitting a hard surface with no feedback. It just doesn't make any sense. You're just talking about a big tablet.
That's the point. People are calling it a foldable. No. It's a tablet.
It's a foldable tablet.
Which, as we all know, other than the iPad, haven't really.
Yeah.
They've got a small market.
You can add a keyboard to a tablet. You can do that today.
Yep.
Could be Bluetooth, whatever. It doesn't have to be attached.
You can just buy a laptop, which is what you're trying to recreate.
A lot of people don't do it. Most people don't do it. Let's say nobody, not literally nobody, but basically nobody.
Yep, I'm sure they'll make it, and I'm sure people will love it or something, and it'll have a small market. But I'm
intrigued. I mean, it's cool looking, but you got to have that kind of a realistic viewpoint. It's like a lot of the people are calling for these Microsoft devices, like they want to make a folding or 2-screen device, or maybe enter the phone market again, blah blah blah, whatever. It's like, yeah, but what about the apps? Like what? Is there like when you look at the Windows Store today or the Microsoft Store, do you see like a collection of apps that would make a tablet make a ton of sense today? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Especially compared to, like you said, the iPad. This thing's not existing in a vacuum. It's entering a market in which the iPad exists. I mean, the bar is really high.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, Microsoft technically has a tablet. It's called a Surface Pro.
Oh no, that's a laptop, Brad. You must not be paying attention to their marketing.
Oh yeah. That happens.
Which, by the way, I think speaks volumes itself, right? That they used to have kind of a unique, well, they still do, but they used to have a unique tagline for each of the Surface products. Mm-hmm. And the one for Surface Pro, of course, was the tablet that can replace your laptop. I don't remember what they call it now, but every one of those things is now a laptop something, and the Surface Pro is a laptop something. I don't remember the tagline. It's the laptop that cannot replace your laptop. I don't know, whatever. I'm sure it's something smarter than that.
Yep. And then, Paul, do you remember a scant 24 hours ago, we talked about Sonos bringing the Google Assistant to the speakers?
Yeah, the crushingly disappointing Sonos thing. Yes.
Well, even more disappointing news than that. For probably maybe 12 of those 24 hours that we've been gone, there has been a major outage, as they called it at one point. Oh, no, they still call it a major outage. The Amazon Assistant doesn't work on it right now.
That's amazing. It's almost like the two little assistants are in there fighting each other in a death struggle. To get the little icy hands around each other's throats.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll resolve it. I mean, this just bringing Assistant to the Sonos thing has taken forever.
Oh, yeah. Over a year.
Didn't they announce this like fall 2017 or something?
Something like that. It was supposed to arrive in 2018 and then never really did. And
it took a long time.
It did. Which I don't.
By the way, it took a hardware rev too. Like they quietly revved the hardware on Sonos One, I believe, because of the processing demands of the Google Assistant.
Interesting times.
Yep.
Interesting times. Which reminds me that tomorrow, folks, there is no podcast.
Wow.
It's official. Pool party is on. I'm going to go pick up snacks at lunch for the pool party because that's
my wife is going to Boston this weekend, so maybe I'll come to Ohio to go to the pool party.
Oh, you can show up with your drinks.
With like one of those rubber tubes around my waist and or whatever it is, like a floaty or something.
Yeah, you can join all the kindergartners and the probably
Cannonball.
in the
So
pool.
kids cry.
Which actually reminds me, because usually on Friday we talk about Shift Happens, but Paul and I, well, next week, Monday through Wednesday, Paul and I will be in Miami's, right on the water. And so we're trying to figure out a place to hang out. Paul, this will
So
reassure you.
you've not gotten anything from anybody?
No, nobody really helped us out, jerks.
Interesting.
Actually, Jan, your favorite person in the whole wide world, is trying to find us a spot. I'm sure it'll have tequila.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm sure it will be called Train Wreck or something similar.
Some sort of club that we have to.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like this place you can hear it 2 blocks away. Go, it's gonna there was a guy who sent us an incredible amount of information.
Yes,
about
that's
Miami,
right. That is right.
I forwarded that to you, right?
Yep.
He might be worth asking.
Yeah. Actually,
that
is
that guy. I mean, every once in a while, not every once in a while, a lot of times people will kind of say, "Hey, I hear you're coming to wherever. Here's a little bit of blah blah blah, whatever." This guy sent us a book's worth of information about Miami. It was really helpful. In fact, I'll call him out once we're there, just to say thank you. I mean, it was really amazing of him to do, and he was a wealth of information. I bet he may know a place.
Yep. And then after that, we'll be at Shift Happens in Washington, D.C. You can find that at shifthappenscon.com.
I just saw a thing today sorry, that was for the Netherlands. So the Netherlands trip I'm going on in between those is 21 days from today. So that means that Shift Happens must be basically a month from now, or a month.
Yeah, it's the 12th through the 14th, I believe. Yeah. It's right around that time frame.
There must be 4 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Ish. Or something, I don't know. Math.
When do you get into Miami? Do you even know?
Yeah, I do. Let me just look. Monday. It's Monday morning.
Monday morning, really? You'll be there before me. I might be the last one there then.
Why? When do you arrive?
Like 1:30 or something.
Oh, no, I get in at... I'm sorry, I'm leaving Monday morning. I get in at 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have a thing that night, like a...
like 5 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah, you don't want to get in too early. Speaking of it, I never asked you. So when you flew into Seattle, you got in super early. You must have did you get into the hotel right away?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Did you go to the right hotel the first time?
Yes, I did, but I remember sitting in the back of the Uber, like looking at the other hotel that we always stay at, and I was like,
Hyatt.
Yeah.
So just as an aside, I think people might find this semi-interesting. I've been going out to visit Microsoft in the Seattle area since 1995 or 95. And the first time I went to a Microsoft event in Seattle was 1998. The event was actually at the Hyatt, which is attached to the conference center that we go to for WinHack, for Build today, sorry. Mm-hmm. Back then it was WinHack. And that event was the Windows NT 5.0 Beta 2 workshop. It was the event at which I decided to start the supersite for Windows, which at the time was called the Windows NT 5.0 supersite. And then it became Windows 2000. It became, sidechain, whatever. Ever since that day, so that was literally over 20 years ago. Every single time Microsoft has had an event, I have stayed at the Hyatt in Seattle, which again is attached to the conference center. Mm-hmm. And so this year, Richard and I showed up. We drove down from Vancouver, and of course we parked in the parking lot for the Hyatt. We went into the Hyatt. We checked in, tried to check in, and they were like, "We don't have a reservation for you," which is not what you want to hear, by the way, when you've flown across the country. And she click, and she goes, "You're at the other Hyatt. They just opened a new Hyatt." You think Microsoft might have called us out, and maybe they did. I didn't notice it, but so we walked down the street to the other Hyatt. We went to check in. And the woman's like, "Yeah, I don't have a reservation for you." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." I'm thinking, did I have screwed this up? Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Actually, there's another Hyatt." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yep.
And she says, "Yeah, it's just a block. These things are all like a block apiece. So you go block, and there's a second Hyatt. You go another block, there's a third Hyatt. And the Hyatt Regency, which is the new one, was able to check in, like you were, I guess. And Richard had the same experience, obviously. Everyone I talked to was like, "Yeah, what's going on? When did they add all these Hyatts? Like, this place is just like a sea of Hyatts."
And they're all, you could probably hit all of them with a rock.
Oh, yeah. You can see all of them from one spot. They're very close. It's like, if you're in the Boston area, there's like a Dunkin' Donuts across the street from a Dunkin' Donuts. Or if you go to Seattle area and there's like a Starbucks across the street from a Starbucks. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, but That's really weird. Like Hyatt hotels. I mean, is there really that much of a demand for Hyatts? I guess there
Apparently,
is.
apparently
It was a
there
beautiful
are.
hotel.
It was very nice. It was very nice. All right, folks. So that wraps it up for this week then of First Ring Daily. Paul and I will be in Miami Monday through Wednesday, and I think we travel home Thursday morning, something like that. So podcasting might be a little askew next week, but we will try to do something from the beach and or other fruity drink place. Otherwise, have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you right back here next time.